This adorable little pig was enjoying a meal, but what it was eating was the stuff of human nightmares. Staring at the monster that had suddenly appeared in his room, David quickly called Jack for help. However, when Jack arrived, he was pleasantly surprised to discover that this creature was actually the legendary Dream Eater pig. David had suffered from nightmares since childhood, leading to chronic sleep deprivation. As a result, his temper had become unusually irritable, causing everyone around him to keep their distance. One day, he collapsed from exhaustion in the hallway right onto Jack, who happened to be passing by. Out of kindness, Jack took him home. On the way, David shared his struggles, how he had visited temples to obtain countless talismans in an attempt to ward off the nightmares that plagued him, but unfortunately, none had worked. As an expert in supernatural phenomena, Jack explained that using too many talismans could actually be counterproductive and offered to visit David's home to assess the situation. To his astonishment, he found the windows completely covered in talismans. After painstakingly removing them, Jack explained that some of those talismans were preventing the Dream Eater pig from entering the room, the very being capable of devouring nightmares. Instead of keeping it out, David should be welcoming its arrival. Before leaving, Jack drew a small pig illustration for David and instructed him to place it under his pillow while sleeping. This, he said, might summon the little pig to help eat his nightmares. Jack also gave David his phone number, urging him to reach out if anything happened. That night, David followed Jack's advice and placed the drawing under his pillow before going to sleep. To his surprise, he didn't have any nightmares, but he still woke up out of habit in the middle of the night only to find a strange creature in his room. Unaware that it was the legendary Dream Eater pig, David mistakenly thought it was sucking out his soul. Terrified, he immediately called Jack for help. Jack rushed over with his dark-eyed companion, Nini, leading to the scene described at the beginning. Jack was thrilled to see the Dream Eater pig and found it delightfully soft to hold. Though Jack explained what it was, David remained skeptical. After all, he had only heard of such beings in legends and had never encountered one in real life. To convince him, Jack had to show David Nini, who was fast asleep. The next day, Jack went with Ayu and Lily to check on David at school, only to find he hadn't shown up. David ended up missing 3 consecutive days and didn't reappear until the 4th. Thanks to the Dream Eater pig, he was finally free from nightmares and had caught up on years of lost sleep. He looked radiant, and his once hostile demeanor had completely vanished. After school, they all gathered at Jack's house with their respective pets. The 3 little ones were curious about their new companion and snuggled up against its soft, fluffy body. Despite its chubby, cute appearance, the Dream Eater pig was not only capable of devouring human nightmares but also incredibly strong, easily shaking off the little ones clinging to it. It could even move faster than the speed of sound, though it never misused its abilities. Once it grew familiar with its new playmates, it happily became their locomotive, pulling them along. When everyone asked David what name he had given it, he admitted he was still undecided. He had been calling it Chubby for the time being. After some thought, he decided to stick with the name Chubby, and so, Chubby officially became one of them. As it turned out, Chubby had even more talents. The next day, David asked Jack for a favor. He was curious how Chubby managed to get into his room when he had locked all the windows and doors before going to sleep. That night, they dressed Chubby in warm clothes, closed and locked the glass balcony door, and prepared for Jack to witness how it entered after David fell asleep. Jack suggested David sleep in the bed, but the next moment, David was already fast asleep. As Jack turned off the lights and settled down to wait, David suddenly sat up in his sleep. With his eyes closed, he walked to the balcony, opened the door, and then collapsed. This sleepwalking-like behavior startled Jack, who wondered if Chubby was behind it. To his amazement, Chubby even made David's body dance, a skill that left Jack utterly astonished.